Welcome to Rebel Chaser. My name is Gail, and I have a video for you from Judge Rossi in Michigan. He is hearing an appeal for a PPO extension. I will just let you guys watch this.
Circuit Court for the County of Kent is now in session. Honorable J. Joseph Rossi presiding. We are here in the case of April Schulte versus Brittany Gibbons, case number 24-09719PH. This hearing is being recorded on Zoom and live streamed on YouTube.
And this matter is before me today on Ms. Schulte's appeal of my denial originally of a personal protective order. So as an initial matter, I would invite both parties to state and spell your names for the record. We can begin with Ms. Schulte.
April Schulte, APRILSCHULTE.
Thank you. And Ms. Gibbons.
Brittany Gibbons, BRITTANY GIBBONS.
All right. And as this is an appeal of my original denial, what I'll do is I'll take some testimony from Ms. Schulte, then I'll swear in Ms. Gibbons as well and take any responding testimony, and then I'll make a ruling on whether my original denial will stand or whether I will allow the PPO to be in effect. So, Ms. Schulte, would you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that your testimony today will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Very good. And Ms. Schulte, my understanding is you originally had a PPO perhaps in 2023, and that after that one expired, there were events that occurred that caused you to seek a new PPO. Why don't you tell me what those events were?
Yep. After our original PPO expired May 27th of 2024, it was a 6-month PPO that you had issued under the ex parte. That expired May 27th, 2024, and she started back up contacting my husband repeatedly and myself through various means, texting, spoof phone calls, different social media, fake accounts. And I did not know at the time that in order to extend the PPO, I had to ask for an extension before it expired. There was another police report made after those events, after it expired early June, and it died down after that. And then just this past September, again, I started receiving random phone calls and texts from Mrs. Gibbons. And I had a third party who I do not know, I've never met or talked to outside of this, reach out and say at that same day that I should look at getting another PPO because she is back to acting up. So I made another police report. This was my 4th time involving the police in this, in a recorded police report, and upon which they went and talked to her at her place of work, where she admitted to calling, texting, using those spoof accounts, and continuing to harass us. This has been almost a year now since this woman has come into my life, or I have known of her existence.
Okay. And when you say you did note in your appeal, I think, that there were criminal stalking misdemeanor charges. Are those still?
Yes,
there
are still 2 counts of misdemeanor stalking that she is currently going through the process of. She has been arraigned. She has a court-appointed defense lawyer. She is to abstain from smoking, including medical. Our next court date is November 19th, and that is with Judge O'Hara.
Okay, all right, up in 63rd District Court. Okay, and when you receive these, what you're referring to as some spoof or fake calls or texts, that you believe to be from Miss Gibbons, how do you know they're from her?
The timing, the resiliency, the timing back to back, all the different accounts. One particular one was acting as if she was a Trump, like the election text we get asking if you'll vote for Trump. She had sent that at around 5:30 in the morning rather than inside of the legal time that politicians are allowed to text us. So that was kind of a giveaway. What solidified it was when this last police report, just after September 15th, it was the following Monday or a couple weeks after, it was in September, that the police officer went and talked to her directly, and she admitted on his body camera to him that it was indeed her, and also let the police officer go through her phone.
Okay. And are these messages and calls, are they directed to you and your husband, or who do they go to?
Both. I received them to me on my phone, and he has received them to him on his phone.
Okay. All right. And you've received them on your phone on more than 2 occasions, I take it.
Yeah, yes. November 2023, end of May 2024, and September 2024 are the ones that I, in my gut, and aligning with the evidence the police have. Outside of that is just speculation.
Okay. And is there anyone else that's harassing, texting, or spoofing you using other unknown numbers?
No, I had an individual reach out directly, but it wasn't harassing. It was just letting me know that she is talking about how obsessed with my husband she still is, and that she misses him, and that she was going to start reaching out again. And I also spoke with this individual's current wife, that they too have had problems with her and have had to block her on everything.
And this is Mr. Wireman?
Yep. Mhm.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Well, thank you. Anything else you'd like to add, Ms. Schulte, in support of your request for another PPO?
No, not at this time. I believe everything with the criminal charges pending, the proof that they have on their end, the history of the PPO that we had on file, the multiple police reports, I believe, speak for themselves and her actions.
Okay, all right, thank you. And for your information, and you're not the only one that supposes this, but that the police reports don't get filed unless you make a copy of them and file them yourself in the PPO file. So I don't, until I do a hearing like this, I don't know necessarily what's in the police report. I think many people think that, by the nature of police reports that we have access to them, and that is not the case. So I appreciate your testimony. I will move to Ms. Gibbons. Ms. Gibbons, if you would raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that your testimony today will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Very good. And Ms. Gibbons, I do need to advise you that under the Fifth Amendment, of course, anything that you did say on the record today could be used against you in the criminal case against you. You do have criminal liability because of that pending 63rd District Court case for anything you testified to today. And as such, you would be entitled, if you did want to utilize an attorney or utilize an attorney for your response, to consult with an attorney, that certainly would be a wise choice for you to take, given the fact that, the 63rd District Court and Judge O'Hara, if they find you guilty, can impose whatever criminal penalty they elect to impose after those proceedings. You understand that criminal liability you have for any statements you make today?
Yes.
All right. And would you like to make any statements today?
One of the statements I'd like to make is that this Joshua Wireman character, I wouldn't really count his word as reliable because he's somebody who has been in my past for like 12 some years, but he is jealous of me. He admitted to me that he was jealous because I'm able to have a house of my own. It's something that he was never able to do. He and his wife became close with me, and then she signed up under me with this direct sales company, and then she quit. And then right after that is when they all of a sudden blocked me with not actually, they never even blocked me. I'm the one who blocked them. They just quit talking to me. So
Well, so Wireman, you're saying is unreliable now. However, is it your view that because Miss Schulte's saying she's getting communications directly from you, it's not just the case that Wireman's saying such and so, but rather she's getting direct communications. So even if I discount, Wireman and say, well, his hearsay testimony isn't worth anything, then it seems like I can still grant a PPO here. Anything else to say regarding that?
well, I know that she was told that I was frequenting Cedar Springs to purchase and stuff, and I don't know what sense that would make for me to go clear to Cedar Springs when I live in Lakeview. That's a 45-minute drive for me.
It seems like it would be out of your way. However, of course, I don't know where the
The
marijuana.
closest ones for me are Stanton and Edmore. Those are 20 minutes away, much closer for me to frequent.
Okay.
I don't have any receipts, but I don't keep my receipts for anything.
All
What else?
right. Well, okay. So the idea that well, there's no reason really for you to go there anyway. All right.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, I have heard the testimony today. I've reviewed the documents that have been filed in the case by Ms. Schulte. I do find that two or more incidents of harassing conduct, that is spoofing through messages on text and otherwise through her phone have occurred, particularly if I count the previous PPO, and this is totally normal in PPO world, as constituting, the first instance. Then you only really need one additional instance after a PPO has been in effect already to constitute the sort of conduct that justifies a PPO. However, I do note in the PPO request here, it does request that you not be able to purchase or possess a firearm. I don't think that's necessary. There's no, Ms. Schulte, there hasn't been a threat here to kill you with a firearm, correct? To shoot you in the threats, they've just been more along the lines of harassment.
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to delete that term. I am somewhat sensitive to that because number one, it is a constitutional right, of course, to keep a weapon. And second, it's a huge hassle if I order you not to have a weapon and you have one and you have to leave it with someone else for a period of time. So I limit that to when there is some threat specifically involving a firearm. So what I will do is I will sign the order effective today for the next 6 months. I will delete the one term about the firearm from the request, and it'll be in effect then from today, which is November the 5th until May the 5th. And prior to its expiration on May the 5th, now Ms. Schulte, you can file to renew it. If any of the conduct continues, of course, if the conduct stops, and it doesn't sound like there is any reason, most of these are just simply don't show up at your workplace, your home. And the most important one in this case, of course, no electronic contact. And that means it's defined very broadly by the statute, in that for your information, Ms. Gibbons, if you told someone else something, say about Ms. Schulte with the idea that that person, for whatever reason would pass it on to Ms. Schulte, then you'd be in violation. So you have to be very cautious about electronic communications. It doesn't only apply to direct communications, but communications that are intended to reach the other person. Sometimes people post like a general thing on Facebook, but there are some details about the individual, and that's the sort of thing that can get you tagged for a violation that you strike me as a bright enough person to avoid that, Ms. Gibbons. So I would just advise you to cut any contact with Ms. Schulte out of your life. Now, Ms. Schulte, I am aware that there is some contact that involves your husband. Personal protective orders by their very nature are personal. Thus, it applies to you. Now, if there was a message to your husband that was intended to go to you, that would be a different story. But if it doesn't apply necessarily to any direct contact intended solely for your husband, which I guess in a marriage scenario is a little bit hard to imagine. But I would, if it were me, Ms. Gibbons, I would cut them both out just to be safe. But I will leave that to your choice and discretion. I often advise people, since the penalty for violating one of these can be up to 90 days in jail and or a $500 fine, that most people, when they get one, just say, hey, I'm not even going to get anywhere near the edge. And then occasionally I get people who say, oh, this means I'm really getting under someone's skin. I'm going to see how close I can push it. And that doesn't sit particularly well with me or any other judge if we sense you're trying to do everything you can to skirt the order. So I would deal with the matter in Judge O'Hara's courtroom. He'll be imminently fair. In the process that you experience there, and get to a resolution of this case, and then move on. Everyone's got other things going on, of course, in your life that are more important than this conflict, which apparently has been ongoing for a while. So I'll sign the order, get it out either today or tomorrow, and it'll contain all those no contact terms, with the exception of the firearms term. Thank you both for your attendance and your testimony today. And with that, we're concluded.
Thank you.
So the woman that was stalking says that the person that told on her because he's jealous of her. Really? I just have a feeling you're the jealous one. I just have that feeling. I don't think anybody's really jealous of her. I think she's the one that's jealous. And someone needs to really either sit her down and tell her to stop bothering these people. You would think that the PPO would do that, but maybe she needs a psychiatrist or someone to tell her, stop it. You're becoming obnoxious. Because you are. That's just my thought. Someone needs to tell her to stop. Stop stalking these people. They don't want to hear from you. They aren't interested in your life. They don't care about what's going on with you. And they just want you gone, away from them. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.